Welcome back to Supreme Black Podcast. This is your boy D Rose. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, At Ease Moving. I've talked about these guys in the previous episodes. I will be making sure that I post their IG handle and their Google information so you can reach out to these guys. What I really like about them is that they're very fast, efficient, and more importantly, that they are Black owned. I've moved from Tennessee to Florida, from Florida to Texas without any issues. You look them up, these guys have great reviews, and of course everybody hates moving, so why not make it at ease with moving with At Ease. Thanks for tapping in. Welcome back to Supreme Black Podcast. This is your co-host D Rose. Fellas, how y'all doing this week, man?
Doing good. Can't complain. Everything been rolling well this week. Got out and did a few shows. Felt good to be back on stage a little bit, rocking some back-to-backs. Man, been super busy. Got these kids going from cheerleading to track and everything. Man, they killing my gas, ain't they, bro? We run all over the place, taking kids from cheerleading to track to this event, that event. Woo, Lord have mercy. This a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on, but hey, I rather have it that way. You know what I'm saying? Stay busy, keep the kids busy. They make good grades and everything. So hey, you doing real well over here.
So with that trash Nashville traffic too. So like, yeah, good luck with that, man.
Bro, ridiculous. The traffic jam at any time. It don't matter.
Yep.
Any time of the day. For nothing.
Yeah. That's what's up. With Spirit, how everything rocking on your end, man?
Everything good with me, so no complaints. Just been busy. Not as busy as Flake, but still busy nonetheless. But all is well on my end. Just getting adjusted to not getting paid for a minute since I got this promotion and stuff and the new pay schedule that they switched it to. So gonna be 3 weeks without a paycheck. So that's about it. Just trying to budget. But outside of that, all is well.
Little top ramen hit the table a couple of nights.
Little Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
Hot sandwiches.
Little hot sauce and crackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's up, boy? You sure can tell when you get some money, boy.
Right. They change up your whole pay schedule.
That boy said that without a flinch. If they hold me out for 3 weeks, I don't know if we're going to be recording, man. I got to move around and make something happen. Yeah, that's what's up, though, man.
I'm trying to see what they're like. I ain't never had no promotion where they changed my pay schedule. He
said he got to hold off on this. He going into a different bracket. That's what's up, man. Blessings. Love to see it, man. But everything good on my end, man. Like I said, everybody's still here. I'm in a good space mentally. Over the weekend, just to kind of share, like Friday night, I think I had turned my phone off at like 12. I ended up turning it back on like noon Sunday or about 10 Sunday morning, just to kind of, just to unplug from the world, man, just to kind of get my mind right, just focus on some stuff, came up with some creative ideas for all the business ventures I'm working on, for the podcast, nonprofit. There's a lot of stuff that I wrote down that is, just kind of put into place, man. So I'm in a good place mentally. I can't complain at all. So, been active, been meditating more, stretching more, running more. So in a good space, man. So no complaints on my end at all, man. Now, Flake, I know you were saying we've been having some conversations, but I'll let you pop it off so we can get into the dialogue that we're gonna have today. But I'll let you take it.
Yeah, black men can't do nothing no more. Black men can't do nothing no more. Y'all been on ASAP Rocky for his magazine cover with Rihanna. We forget the simple fact that the cover is for Rihanna. Y'all been on Jonathan Majors for his magazine cover as well on Ebony. I just wanted to get you guys thought about it. It just was tearing the internet up that men are no longer men become soft, they ain't leaders no more. And I'm like, this is what we getting out of 2 magazine covers. This is what we getting out of these 2. They said it's a objectifying the black man to make us look soft, this, that, and the other. Now, has that been the case in some situation in history? Yes. I'm gonna let you guys give y'all opinion. I'll go in detail about my opinion a little bit later on it. But my initial thought was, this is not the situation with this one, in my opinion. In my opinion. But I see a lot of black men that think a little different. So I just want to get y'all guys' opinion on that. If you hadn't seen the magazine covers, one has got A$AP Rocky on, where Rihanna is on the cover. She is leading the way and holding A$AP Rocky's hand as he's trailing behind her while he's holding the baby and kissing the baby at that time. Then you got Jonathan Majors on the ebony cover with his shirt off. He got on, I think, like a pink fur coat and some pants with the pants and boot combo going on his cover. You know what I mean? So a lot of people had a lot of thoughts about that. So I just wanted to get you guys' opinion. I shared it in groups so y'all can see the photos and just get y'all thoughts on that and it being a black man in both of these photos.
Go ahead, Spirit. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I really didn't give it two thoughts, to be honest. Like, at the end of the day, that's their business. They choose to do what they want to do. As far as A$AP Rocky, if he's supporting Rihanna, more power to him. That's his woman. So behind every strong man is a strong woman, and behind every strong woman should be a strong man. So therefore, I don't give a rat's ass what anybody got to say about a man who got $1 billion woman supporting her, taking care of what he got to do in his household, under his roof, for his lady and his family, their child and their soon to be other child or whatnot. So at the end of the day, people gonna talk. To your point, Flake, it has been the case where society or people that be or powers that be try to emasculate and subject our culture and our people to the more feminine aspect of a man. And but again, I'm not going to be as far as woke to say that this is what's transpiring now and these two things. As far as the Jonathan Majors thing, I mean, art is art, and fashion / photography is a form of art, or whatever the case may be. I don't know too much about the photo shoot or what behind the logic of the photo shoot, but I did hear somebody talking about it. I forgot where I was at, but I heard somebody talking about it, and I heard that it actually came from, but I didn't do no research myself because I don't care too much about it. It actually came from a comic book, or the origin of that photo shoot comes from either a comic book, if I'm not mistaken, or a very prominent photographer back in the day or something, who they was emulating that type of shoot for the Jonathan Majors shoot or whatnot. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just an expression of art. He chose to partake in that. He felt like it wasn't too much for him, and so that's his business. And at the end of it, I really don't care. I know he's a good actor. He did a great TV show that should have been, still should be on TV, that was propelling the culture forward and moving the needle on black art. He's a great actor in the movies that he's been in as well. So that should be the shit that we're talking about, is why is Lovecraft Country not on TV versus, him not being in, or him being in certain paraphernalia or fashion wear. And so that's just how I feel about it.
Okay, yeah. I will say this. I think from a perspective, I think Jonathan Majors is a great actor. I've never really listened to A$AP Rocky's music, so I couldn't really just get into that. I did look at the picture on Vogue, and then I did see the one that was on Ebony, which is Jonathan Majors. I've seen a lot of the comments, and my thoughts of it is that I think it could be a bit of a reach on both ends. I'm gonna be honest with you, it would be something. It wouldn't be something that I would agree to. I would love to see, especially with Rihanna and ASAP, to being more of a combined thing. Because regardless of how we may want to look at it, and I wouldn't consider it being too woke, there is an agenda that they're pushing in regards to making Black men look feminine. And I don't think that these two things actually helped at all. I mean, sitting with your legs crossed, I'm not doing that. And I get the whole art thing, but no, I can't agree with just the visual of it, because at the end of the day, where I get it is that where we may be able to process it in our adult minds, it still could be conflicting to kids that are looking at what does this really set as a standard. I don't think that they're going to look at that as fashion. I think that they would look at a picture and probably just kind of connect it to a lot of different other things that are going on in the world. And I think there's just a lot of confusion. I would love to see Black men being Black men, which is strong, and you can be fashionable, but I don't think it should be questionable and fashionable at the same time. That's my thoughts on that.
One thing I didn't agree with the whole A$AP Rocky situation. They said it's showing a man cannot be the head of his household, which I didn't get that at all from that photo. As a married man myself, and anybody who's been in a serious dating relationship realize that there's gonna be some times where your woman or your wife is gonna lead in a relationship for a little bit, regardless of what that may be. In that situation, there was time for Rihanna to lead in that because it was her photo shoot. It was a whole situation about her, especially with her coming off the Super Bowl. What he had on wasn't really anything that, to show them being feminine at all. Like a person that was a father that was in his child's life and was supporting his wife. That's exactly what it was like to me in that situation. I'm sure there's certain things in the house where A$AP Rocky is holding it down and he's the head and he's leading in those situations. I think people take it as because she a billionaire and he is not billionaire status, but let's not forget, A$AP Rocky got money too. Ain't nothing he ever said in the album that I listened to that made him feel like, he's being emasculated or anything like that. I haven't listened to all his albums, but I've definitely listened to a couple of them. So it wasn't, I didn't get that. I had more problem that he was on the beach with shoes on. I had more problem with that than I did about the whole photo itself. Why this man got on a leather outfit and they on the beach? This boy gonna dehydrate out there. That's more the issue I had about it. Jonathan Majors, you were right on that, Spears. It is the photographer is in the anime a lot. So that picture with him sitting on the couch is paying homage to an anime character, which is a villain. And the villain dressing like that. And from I talk to my anime people, they like, oh, he a ruthless villain. Like he ain't a dude that's going for none of that. Like he's one of the most dangerous ones. I was like, well, is he sweet or something? They're like, nah, that's just how he dressed, like a Ric Flair type of person. That's how he is. That's how he dressed as far as the anime character. But it was like, ain't nothing sweet about the anime character at all. Like, dude with it. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, so I get the artistic part of it. Now, anything that Jonathan Majors has ever been in, he's been a man's man. And we take this one photo, it's like, oh, this man been emasculated, man. Man, I don't like the way, then it went to, I don't like the way he got the chapstick on his lips, why his lips shining. I'm like, bro, come on. Like this man.
I definitely didn't see that. The legs crossed was enough for me to be like, nah, I'm drawing a line. But to look and see what kind of lips, nah, I'm not doing
they was doing all this. So I'm like, later on in the photograph, he was this super sex symbol because he had on the boxers with the rose in his mouth, and he leaned over with his shirt off, and he's such a sex symbol, The cover, because that picture, I think the boxer picture came out before the cover picture came out. And then the next one with that, and I'm like, bro, come on. Like I don't think too much into it. I've seen a lot worse when it comes to that. When it comes to masculating, so I think about that. I also go back to think about, some of y'all that got something said about that. Go back and look what your daddy was wearing back in the early 70s. And you still got your mama Let's go back to what Prince was wearing. Prince was out here had all type of ladies. You know what I'm saying? You go back to them 70s, them early 80s, dudes was wearing stuff today. We be like, hey, yo, but they was out here getting the women. You know what I mean?
Lil Richard, Rick James.
Yeah.
You know, the list goes on.
Yeah. Ronald Isley.
James Brown.
This. With at 31 years old, and you fellas a little bit more connected to your ancestors and elders, and I can respect that. However, I didn't see them coming up like that, so that's just not what I think about when I see that. I would have to take some time to go back to watch the Mac and Superfly and all that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they was the smooth talking brothers, but I'm gonna tell you this. That was the look for them back then. It wasn't the blurred lines, as I can say that respectfully, as it is now. I'm just going, that ain't what that looked like if you didn't know Jonathan Majors and how he acted. I can tell you, I ain't gonna go too far into it, but that ain't what that looked like, now. That ain't how you would look do that.
Well, I'm gonna say this in defense of man in general who may tiptoe certain things, because again, I don't agree with certain things, but again, that's neither here nor there, and that's my business. So what I don't agree with, you will never see me partake in that, but I'm not going to talk about somebody else who does partake in it. But in the defense of people in different regions, sometimes we could get so caught up into our region and our area and demographic that we don't really realize what's happening on the broader spectrum in other regions or in other states and other cities. Because one thing that I have become aware of or started noticing is, because, you know, different athletes, because I watch sports, so I'm seeing different athletes. They got niggas out here really painting their nails, and these niggas are really heterosexual straight males, but they out here with colored fingernails or things on their nails, and that's just something that is very prominent in the region and the area where they live in. And so in certain regions, in certain areas, and in certain demographics, certain things are a norm that we might not see in the deep South, that we're not even aware that is really happening on the West Coast or the East Coast or whatever the case may be, just because that's not our culture. So I will say that there are some things that we're just not aware of because of our bubble that is very big and prominent in other areas that people are really doing. And these are really straight males that are doing some things that we would be like, what the hell? But again, that's just because of the bubble and the area that we live in, that we're not even privy to some of this information and knowledge that's going on.
You know what, and I'm glad that this conversation went there, because I think it will show growth in regards to just three hetero men having this conversation, right? And when I think about a guy or a man approaching me and saying that he's heterosexual and he has his nails painted, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not going to see him as a straight man. Like, it just, to me, my mind isn't wired, and maybe it should be different, but at this particular moment, I'm not gonna lie and fake kick it just for anybody to like the video or don't like the video. That does not give me masculine vibes. And I don't believe in toxic masculinity either. I think that's just bullshit that they came up with. But when I look at what a man looked like, I'm thinking about my uncles, my great uncles, my granddad and my great granddaddy. Like, I'm not seeing them with their nails painted. Like, I don't know how that could even become a style in different regions. And I've heard and talked to several people that say that that's a thing, but in spirits, if you've seen it, or like, my question for them or anybody is, how did that turn into a style, and what is it emulating? Because I've only seen like rock star people and white boys paint their nails, like skateboarders and gothic people. I've never seen black men paint their nails and be like, okay, hey bro, we hitting the club, and you know, them same painted nails is still representing the frat that they in, or whatever pledges of allegiance they did to the street. Like, where did it come from? If you've met those type of men, where is it coming from? Like in the different regions, if you had the chance to speak with them, like where's the style coming from? Like what are they getting to with the nails being painted?
Well, just from, again, I'm not an expert on this, and
I'm not saying expert. I'm just saying
no. I'm just saying I'm not an expert on this, so I can't speak for them. But from what I do know, a lot of it do come from just the rock star image and persona. Another thing is it comes from a different tax bracket, or people trying to emulate that they're in that tax bracket. So this is a lot of prominent, wealthy people, all this other stuff. Like D-Wade does it. He even goes as far as his toes. You know, I think I'm not mistaken, I think I might have seen Brian do it once or twice or whatever. Then, you know, you got these people in LA and in that culture and everything do it. And I haven't seen him do this, but I will say, like, even if you get to, he hasn't painted his nails, but if you get to YG and you know YG, who YG is and what he represents, he goes as far to some of his fashion statements that some people could question that are a little, you know, suspect or whatever, because they was talking about YG at the Grammys or whatnot, and was like, I wouldn't wear what he had on at the Grammys. He had on some leather something outfit or whatever, and people was talking about that and was saying that's suspect. But I think it's just a tax bracket thing. I think it's when you get to a certain level and you get to a certain fashion, some of that high fashion stuff is just on that level that people want to be like, hey, this is what I'm rocking, and they have to fuck with it to a certain level, or to some type of level to wanted to put it on, or wanted to wear it on their fingers, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's a tax bracket thing, or people who aren't in that tax bracket trying to emulate and follow the people that they look up to or that they put on a pedestal or whatever, and say, oh, if my guy's doing it, well, I'm gonna do it too.
Okay, so when I think about, and just to use an example, like D-Wade was mentioned, right? I know he is doing a lot of things in support of his son that is, I think it made officially made the transition, right? So
don't do it.
Nah, I ain't gonna go too far with it. We're just having a grown man conversation. So when I'm thinking about the certain stuff, it's like, what tech, like, I guess I would still want to know of, like, where is it coming from, bro? Like, it to me, I just fashion.
I think the baseline of it is the rock star lifestyle. I think that's where the baseline comes from.
Okay,
it's a rock star lifestyle. The rock star lifestyle, the painting the nails and all that rock star type stuff. I think that's what's the baseline of it come from.
Okay. And I can see that, because like a YG, I would see you dressed, I would consider him like a Farnsworth Bentley style. Like, he got a little, you know, it's something to it. Like, I mean, I've seen dudes pull off the leather fits and, you know, et cetera. I think, you know, you could rock that. But when it comes to, like, mixing, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of like a slippery slope, man. And it's not any knock to anybody that does it, but I just think about, when you think about, like, what does it represent, and then, of course, everybody has the freedom of speech and freedom of expression to do whatever you would like to do. That's not my point. But when you think about how there could be conflicts of interest in regards to people that may just shut off that group of people, I would be honest with you, if I seen that, I'm going to automatically think one particular thing, and that's not that I'm going to disrespect you because of that. That's your lifestyle. That's whatever you choose. But when I think about when we're having conversations with young men, young women, and we're just asking, and I'm a big fan of, you know, black and white. I don't like the blurred lines. And so, like, I feel like sometimes Hollywood pushes a certain kind of fashion that we may get into and say, okay, it's a tax bracket. And not just using your example, I've talked to other people, and it's like, it's an expression. But what is that really expressing to the people that look up to them? Because at the end of the day, you don't have D-Wade type money. You don't have Brian type money. So your connection to the people that's around you is going to be looking completely different. Like, I remember when we was running, and we rocked the fanny packs, and people we'll consider like a man bag, and it was normal. But, and I won't go into too much with it, but if you see us out moving around in the city, we ain't running. but that man bag is for a reason. And it's part of fashion. However, if you know, you know. You feel me? So play if you want to. However, that's something that's universal. We all know, they ain't running right now. So if you know, you know. But I can't say it if I see you with nails. I'm like, oh yeah, he one of them. He like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing about it. I think it's a great conversation, but I like black and white, man. I don't like when it's mixed, because my nephew is very, and Flake know it, they gonna ask some questions. And I just like to know so I can give them an answer. I don't want to just bully one side to them, because I have to understand that you may have uncles, you may have great uncles that are going to tell you the real raw truth. However, you're around other kids that may not have that luxury or may be getting taught different things. And so I don't want you to be the one that's being targeted in your school because you're not open to different ideas. Because what you have to realize is that one day, as you become an adult, or whenever you can make those decisions, it's going to be different people around you. And I don't want them to just be so one-sided as I was being raised, is because that just wasn't the norm. And I just don't want them lines to be blurred, because well, D-Wade do it. Well, then let's sit down, let's talk. And I can walk you through a lot of things. You'd probably be like, oh, I get that. You know, so yeah. I
mean, the thing is, you make sense in what you're saying, and nothing that you're saying is wrong. I would just think that at this day and age, at this time that we're in society and in the world, and just with maturity levels, that's when you just got to really have conversations with people. So it ain't just an assumption that you make, especially if you have access to these people. So like, if you have access to somebody and that's your partner, or that's your partner's partner, or that's your homegirl's man or whatever, and you like, why you bring homie around me with these nails? Like instead of just leaving it at that, be like, say, let's have a conversation. No judgment here, but I do just want to know, because I want to know your thought process on why you did it. I want to get an understanding of why it's okay for you to do this, because again, it's something that I don't agree with or rock with, but again, I'm not judging you for doing it. I just want to know why you do it, because, and you could even go to this, I'm raising a young man, or I got a young impressionable nephew, or whatever the case may be, and when he asked me, is it okay for me to paint my nails? And I just quickly be like, nah, that ain't what men do. I want to make sure that I'm not coming from a old or a biased term or whatever, even though I'm still going to tell him I don't think men do that. But I want to make sure that I don't put no extra emphasis on something that could be a negative way of him processing things that can end up hurting him later on. So I think in this day and age, that's just when we come to having conversations, because for personal, I'm gonna go personal. For me, and I know you would never rock what I rock as far as like skinny jeans and stuff like that, but I also know that you ain't never questioned my manhood, or never had to question my manhood. But again, some people might be like, hey, some of your homies from back home from from the M might be like, hey, your boy rock skinnies? Why you rocking with this nigga and he rock skinnies? Come on, Rose, all this other stuff and everything. And so, just being honest and real. So that's the thing. I think for me, there are fine lines. I'm not gonna sit here and say that there's not, and I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't agree with you or feel the same way that you feel when it comes to certain things, because we like mine, we got certain things. However, I will say that with what we're trying to represent and what we do represent, now we have to get out of that old school mentality, or where we first just bash a nigga for what he doing or whatever the case may be, and be more open-minded to be like, okay, let me try to understand where he coming from and his point of view versus whatchamacallit. Because I know for a fact I've been called gay just for the way I dress, but I know ain't too many niggas, if there is any, who could dress better than me, and that's on the budget, that's high fashion, that's whatever. Can't niggas outdress me, and that's just what it is. But I know some niggas look down upon me because of the way that I rock. But fuck you, and I don't care what you think. I'm good in my skin and my masculinity and who I am. But again, you know, if somebody was to tell their son, oh, you can't dress how Chris dress or whatever the case may be, that might be teaching their son some backwards ass mentality. Just like them white folks pass down racism, we could be passing down certain type of biases and hate and discrimination against our own people.
Yeah, that's why I said I know for a fact this is a great conversation, because it can go so many different ways. Because even with something as simple as something that really didn't matter to us about how ASAP or Jonathan Majors look, I think it goes into a deeper conversation that needs to be had within our communities. Because honestly, I'm still ignorant in a lot of ways, to be completely honest with you. It took me a while to, grasp a lot of different things, but I think the way you approach it, I can respect it, because you're looking at it from all levels. And then you have to, when you're dealing with people, especially dealing with communities, because everybody's not going to come one way. So you may brush off a complete group of people just because of your one way of thinking. But, I think we all have that biases. And I think you made a hell of a point with how racism is passed down. I would have to say, I don't hate my uncles or great uncles for it at all, or my granddaddy them. I'm thankful that they taught me that way. However, I think we, like you said, we've hit that roadblock in society now, is that you can't just say it that way. And you may still raise your people. Like I'm still gonna be the same way through and through. However, I'm preparing other young minds to deal with the world that they have to live in, not the world that I lived in. Because it's so much we can go into with it, but we ain't got all day, because things change. Practices and shit just evolve, and you may not agree in these particular orders. I couldn't see Flake, D, Dean, A, none of them doing any of that. But it's bigger than that. Like, that's the bubble that I'm used to seeing. You feel me? So, this is a man. What Flake say? Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Boy, hey, let me tell y'all something. I thank y'all for real, because I think this is a great conversation. Is for the people that know me through and through. I hope you're seeing some growth in this conversation. Because this is the way I'm thinking of it. But you know how I started the conversation, it was about to go left. But you have to think about it in a different way, because I got a 1-year-old nephew, bro. Imagine me having this conversation with him in 15 years, 13 years. Like, it's going to be way different from how it was with us. Like, I can't even tell him an inkling of that. And I'm going to have to hit him with the early. Like, don't you repeat nothing I say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't going to have me, you know what I'm saying, banned from the school. But, yeah, man, good conversation, Flay. Yeah.
But for real though, because what you saying is true, because I had a conversation with Naya not too long ago, and I'm not gonna say the exact term, but y'all gonna know what I mean. I told her I'm raising my kids the way I was raised. You better not bring a home, and so, and that's just how I was raised. And she was like, "Nah, you can't do that." She was like, "You can't do that. They gonna choose who they choose and all this other stuff." But I was like, "Nah, I'm telling my kids." And two of them was right there. You can't bring home. And that's just the end of it. But again, that's something that I'm not gonna waver on. I'm not crossing no lines. I'm not changing my mind. Now, of course, if they do it, I have to be acceptable and accept it. I mean, there's nothing that I can actually do, because I would never just abandon my kids, hate my kids, just turn my back on them or anything of that nature for a choice that they made. But it's just something that I stand on and that I'm going to teach them and raise them upon. So, I mean, there's some things that, just because of how we was raised, just because of how we view things personally, growing up, seeing things and just experiencing things that we're not going to waver on and we're going to stand on. And that's just what it is. And we're not wrong for that. What we would be wrong is just our approach to it, especially with other people who may be of the other side or the other choice or the other thing. And so that's just the thing that we got to make sure that people understand. You trolls on the internet, you might not have to agree, but there shouldn't be an attack on a man's character. There shouldn't be an attack on a man, especially a man that you don't know, because that man might actually be doing more for you than what you think, because he got money and he might be giving back to your community or helping kids out in your community or doing something for people in your community by his philanthropic activities and stuff and everything, and then you hating on him or whatever the case may be, or you just talking on a man's character that you don't know, but then your closet and your closet got more things than that you don't want people knowing. So I would just everybody's gonna have an opinion, because that's just human nature. Everybody's gonna have an opinion, but we should be careful on the attacks that we put on people just because they do something that we might not agree with. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, and so great points. And for the acquiring minds that did not know what he was talking about, he was talking about bad grades. They should not bring those home at all. Yeah, exactly what he's talking about. Bad grades.
Better not bring home, bro. Better not bring no C- in this house, bro. It's gonna be problems.
Yeah.
It's gonna be problems. It's gonna be some real problems. Bro. You know what I'm saying? Better not bring.
Even if you're doing your best, you better, your best better get better.
26 20s. I'm bring.
That 50-51. That 50-51.
Yeah. For real, boy. Hey, for real, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's but yeah, man, that was a great conversation, man. Great conversation.
Oh yeah, that went a little bit deeper than I thought it was gonna go. But yeah, there we go. That's what it's for.
That's what it's for, man. Yeah, good conversation starter. Because the crazy part about it is, like, a lot of people, we've had this conversation just in any group that we've pretty much been in, and it's just a lingering thing. It's like we look at it in our own little ways, and we the old heads now. And we got to start moving as such, because what we put down on the ground, they gonna pick up for better or for worse. So, some of them conversations you just gotta be like, well, hey, I don't know if you're ready for that yet. So I'll wait till you get a little older, and we can talk about it. So maybe you can raise your kids that way. But just to throw it at them and say, hey, you got to move with it. And listen, got to think it ain't a lot of us out here that's still influential that your nephews and nieces going to look to and say, I'm proud to say that this is my uncle or my aunt, because they still out here. They not caught up in the world or got caught up in the matrix. It's just, a victim of their environments. So when you in that influential spot, man, you got to realize that what you say and do, regardless if it's right or wrong, they're going to follow and they're going to remember. Like, and that's just what it is. And so, yeah, I think that was a great conversation. And we might have to spin off that next week again, because it's a lot of shit to unpack with that, for real, for real. It was therapeutic to be for real. Yeah.
Yeah. One more question. We'll wrap it up. Y'all still smoking hookah out here?
I am. And I don't even smoke it that much, but I definitely am.
Yeah. And here go to, because now this I won't do. If as Playboys, I won't do this. But I would say this, man, is if you did your origin on and your history on hookah, it was actually something that Arabic men did as like spiritual purposes, is like cleansing or like fellowship amongst men. Women weren't even allowed to smoke hookah in their religion. It actually hit United States, and when it got westernized completely, it's everybody thing. It's not a woman thing, but it was actually a man thing that they did for like holistic purposes and like religious purposes amongst men. They sat around and it was just kind of like we do beer and football in America. So for people that think that it started in Atlanta at some random hookah spot,
but I sure hope not. But I sure hope ain't nobody think
but
it's started.
But the reason why I said Atlanta is because that's gonna give you an idea. And that's gonna put everything else with it. So yeah, if you know me, you know
exactly. Black men smoking hookah these days, boy. I tell you.
But then we ain't gonna go into that. No, but I'm smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke hookah when I want to.
And I mean, and the other thing is, they want everything for themselves. Like they literally want everything for themselves.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No.
In 2020, no, 2030, we ain't gonna be able to have nothing.
You better have nothing. You better not smile. Smile ain't for straight men no more.
Yeah. Man like
then
us
they wonder why we so
gonna have to be in caves.
Yeah.
Straight man ain't even gonna be able to own homes.
Yeah. For real though. Yeah. It's crazy. Cause I promise you, man, the guys that I know that, you know, aren't heterosexual men that we have the most respect for. We can have conversation. They're not trying to, they're very mature in regards to what it is. They're not trying to push no agenda, all that. But when I see people that just do the most for social media, and that's a lot of people, it ain't even got nothing to do with just what you are interested in. It's just doing the most for the clicks and likes and content. Some things are just real conversation like this we had to really break down barriers to help people out, to understand how to think through and talk through with other people that's from different lifestyles. But when I see ignorance like that, it's like, bro, now if we say something out the way, we gonna be under attack because we went too far with it. But if you say it, it's cool. If we say it, we bullying. Like, just chill with that, because somebody else gonna come real raw with it, and leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yeah, because your ego's so fragile. There can't y'all feel disrespected by a song called "Natural Women." Then y'all feel disrespected for a nigga smoking hookah.
Did you see that I'm gonna leave that alone after this because that's gonna get me fired up. You see they tried to get that song pulled.
What
It was
song?
an old school song.
Aretha Franklin's "Natural
Yeah,
Woman."
They trying to get it pulled.
Yeah, yep. Said it was offensive.
Yeah, they said there ain't no such thing as a natural woman.
To feel like a natural woman.
No,
they
because there's
ain't
no such thing
as a natural
woman. We can close it right there before we go too far.
So we gonna say the lyrics is gonna say, I feel like a person with ovaries. Ovaries.
Yeah, go. Oh, cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off.
I feel like a woman with a placenta.
Hey, mute him. Mute him.
He got 2 more seconds. He about to get that treat. Yeah. I'll close it up. But for real, man. That's crazy. That's
cool
crazy.
when they do it. Problem when I do it.
Yeah. They try to pull Aretha. I said, man,
come on.
What a time to be alive.
That's try to pull Aretha after she done died. Try to pull it while she alive, boy. Aretha gonna let you have
it. That's just it. I mean, yeah, that's too much. That's too much. Yeah, we'll let that go.
But I want to do something different this week because at church yesterday we was talking about mental health a little bit and whatnot. So for the Black Business Minute this week, I don't have an actual Black business. I just wanted to encourage people out there who may be dealing with anything, whether that's depression, anxiety, mourning somebody, frustration, a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, car wreck, anything, dealing with something. Make sure that one thing that you take care of, because out here we talking about physical health and getting into shape, running, working out. You see the videos of people posting their gym workouts and their gym routine and all that other stuff. But your strongest muscle is your mind. Your body will do whatever your mind tells it. That's good, bad, or indifferent. So make sure that you're building up your mind and you spending time with your mind and doing different practices that helps your mental health. And I'm not just talking about going to a therapist and unpacking shit. I'm talking about things that actually make you feel peace, make you feel joy, make you feel happiness. I'm talking about things that actually allow you to mute the naysayers and mute the haters and mute the people who trying to tell you what to do and trying to tell you that you ain't doing right or trying to tell you you ain't shit or that you ain't nobody. Find some alone time and get comfortable being just with yourself, being comfortable knowing who you are and what you stand on. So then therefore, when things do happen, because life is gonna life regardless, life's gonna life. But when those roadblocks hit you and everything, that you're more prepared and more equipped for the hard times versus just crumbling and breaking down or getting to a moment where you might not feel like living or you might feel like you have to go out and do something that could put you behind bars and all this other stuff and everything like that. So build up your mind, because your mind is your strongest muscle, and your body will do whatever your mind tells it. So I just want to let y'all know that your mind, you got to work on your mind as much as you working on that six pack, them abs, them biceps, them leg days and everything. So build your mind up. And I forgot, I don't know why I didn't say this, but I got some good news. So I just got to share it because God is good. Right before we got on, I got a call from my lawyer. And so he went to the prosecutors and everything and tried to, we gave them our terms and what we wanted to plead to or whatever, and they accepted it. So my case that I've been dealing with or whatever, I know not too many people know outright, just people that I know in general, and then I know our viewers and listeners, they know that I was fighting the case or whatever, but I got 2 of my charges dropped, and just got 1 charge, and that's just resisting arrest, time served for when I went to jail for that, and that's the end of it. Lost my pistols, but I could buy some more anytime, so as long as I'm not losing my Second Amendment right, I'm good. So God is good. Just got to sign the paperwork and it'll be final. So my lawyer sent them a message back saying we'll accept those terms, even though they accepted our terms, but we'll accept those terms. Let us know when we could come sign. And yeah, so God is good. I'm a be a free man. I was going to trial for this, but my lawyer said he was going to try to hit them up and give them the offer that I said, because I told him I would take the charge for the resisting, because I could own up to that I was resisting at some point, but I'm not taking those other charges, and those other charges ain't for everybody business to know. But I wasn't accepting those other 2 charges because I wasn't guilty of those or whatever. So we either going to court because they was trying to give me some jail time and then some other stuff. We either going to court or and that's it. But then he said, what will you take? And I told him exactly what I would take and would accept. He said, let me reach out to them and see, and they accepted it. So God is good. I thank all who did know for your support and your prayers, and just keeping me in thought and all of that stuff. It was much needed and much appreciated. So that's it.
That's solid, man. I'm glad you shook them folk, because they, you know how the gang go when it comes to that. And there ain't nothing to it. The cops some new toolies, so that's easy. That's light work.
For my man bag.
Congratulations on that.
When we not running. For my man bag when we not running.
For athletic purposes. Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Glad to hear that you was able to do that. It's crazy how they try to take you down for smoking hookah in Atlanta after 10 p.m., bro. That's crazy as hell, bro.
Yeah.
But we're gonna live through that. We're gonna beat that. You know what I'm saying?
And bumping Aretha in my car out my 12.
Yeah, and playing Aretha at the same time. Buy smoke hookah for past 10.
Cold game, man. Cold game. Yeah.
Cold game, man. Yeah.
Next to a natural woman.
Yeah.
Had both ovals.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Our Spring Black Person of the Week is going to John Albert Burr. He invented one of the first rotary blade lawnmowers. Burr designed a lawnmower with traction wheels and a rotary blade that was designed to not easily get plugged up from the lawn clippings. John Albert Burr also improved the design of lawnmowers by making it possible to more closer to building and wall edges. He did that. His patent is from May 9th of 1899. Not much history out there about Mr. John Albert Burr, but he was born in Maryland in 1848. His parents were slaves and who were later freed, and may also have been a slave until he was the age of 17. He didn't escape from manual labor, as he worked as a field hand during his teenage years. And then shortly after that, he created that lawnmower. He was not it's kind of confusing on who was the original inventor of the lawnmower. I won't go into who they say is the original inventor of the lawnmower, but I will give it to that person, and then we'll say that Mr. John Burr invented to make it a better process to manually mow your lawns. All right. He made it a little bit smaller, whatnot. The original version of the lawnmower was really big. And his version, where you put the new tires on everything, make it a little bit easier, a little bit able to turn a little bit better, whatnot. So give it up to John Burr, because after that invention, you've seen as they went to gas lawnmowers, been a little bit smaller. They had the wheels on there with the grip and everything. So it came from there. So congratulations to him, and he's our Spring Black Person of the week.
Shout out to Mr. Burr. That's dope. That's dope.
Salute, Mr. Burr.
For all our kings out there, put your crown on, took that thing to the side, let them know you are a king. For all our queens out there, put your crown on, took that thing to the side, let them know you are a queen. We are supremely black, and we out.